Okay, we're going to solve this equation that has a square root right here, right? And ideally speaking, I want to get rid of this 5 first. And notice that this is 5 times square root of 2 minus x. And to get rid of this 5, we will have to divide both sides by 5. But the problem is that if I divide both sides by 5, on the right-hand side, I will end up with a fraction. And I want to avoid fractions, of course, right? So let me just go ahead and square both sides as how it is, and as long as we do it carefully, it's going to be okay. First of all, right here, we will have to do 5 square, okay? This is just a multiplication, right? 5 times the square root. We will first do 5 square. This is going to give us 25. And then, when we have the square root of this to the second power, they cancel each other out. And we will just have the inside, but be sure you put it down in the parentheses. So I will put down parentheses with the 2 minus x inside. No more square root on the left-hand side, okay? And then on the right-hand side though, notice that right here, this is 8 minus x, and then square. So it has 2 terms inside. We are going to just go to the side and work this out real quick on the side, okay? So if we work this out, we'll see what we get. Let me just write it down. 8 minus x times 8 minus x, like this. And then we'll just work this out real quick, right? So, you see, 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times negative x is negative 8x. And then negative x times 8, this is another negative 8x. So altogether, it's negative 16x. Lastly, negative x times negative x, we get plus x squared. Now, I will bring this down right here. 64 minus 16x plus x squared, like that. Okay, on the left-hand side though, we will just distribute this real quick. 25 times 2 is 50. 25 times negative x is minus 25x, and this is equal to 64 minus 16x plus x squared, like this. So far, so good, okay? Now, this equation, we have x squared. We are going to make one side equal to 0 and then try to factor the other. This is solved by factoring, okay? To do so, I want to keep the x squared term on the right-hand side because this is positive x squared already. I want to make this positive, okay? I want to keep it as positive. It's easier to factor that way. With that being said, let me minus 50 on both sides. I line out the numbers. This and that will cancel. And this is minus 25x. I will add 25x on both sides. Line up as well. Cancel this out. And then we will have 0 on the left-hand side, and this is equal to. And now, we usually like to have x squared goes first, so we will put that down first. Let me just write this down right here for you guys. X squared, and then I'll put down the x term. Negative 16x plus 25x is what? Positive 9, right? Plus 9x. Lastly, positive 64 minus 50 is plus 14. So this is what we have. And now we can do this by factoring. Let me just factor this. X times x give us x squared. And to get 14, we will just use plus 2 plus 7. Because 2 times 7 is 14. And 2 plus 7 give us a 9. So this is great. And now I will just have the 0 on the right-hand side, okay? And then x plus 2 equal to 0. The other one, x plus 7 equal to 0. Right here, minus 2 on both sides real quick. X equals to negative 2. On the other hand, minus 7 on both sides. We have the other possible answer, negative 7. And now, which one is the answer? Well, maybe they are both correct. Well, maybe they're both fake. And they're both negative though, so it's kind of weird. So be sure you really do the check, okay? We don't know too much unless we do the check. Plug in these x values back to the very original. So here is the deal. I will check when x is equal to negative 2 first, okay? Now, plug in negative 2 into this x first. I will have 5 times the square root 2 minus, okay, that was a minus. And then the x is negative 2 that I'm checking, so let's write this down right here. Is this going to give us 8 minus that x, which once again, we are plugging -2 for that, okay? And now let's just do the work right here real quick. First of all, this is just 5, and then this is what? Well, minus minus becomes plus. 2 plus 2 is 4 instead of the square root. So this is 5 times the square root of 4. And then on the right-hand side, 8 minus -2, well, it means 8 plus 2, we have 10. Well, we can also work this out on the left-hand side. Square root of 4 is a regular 2, so we have 5 times a regular 2 now. 5 times 2, do we get 10? Yes, right? So that means this right here is a legitimate answer. Now, we also check. Do not just cross out the -7. Give -7 a chance, okay? Be sure you check x equal to -7. Do this real quick, plugging into this x and that x. So we have 5 times the square root 2 minus -7 for the x right here. And then do we end up 8 minus -7? So this is my question mark because we haven't done the work yet, so we don't know. 8 minus -7. Okay, let's see. Inside here, this is 2 plus 7, right? So it's a 9 inside of the square root. So we write this down, 5 times the square root of 9. And then this right here, this is 8 plus 7, which is 15. Furthermore, you see this is a regular 3. So we have 5 times a regular 3 now. Do we end up with 15? Yes, it does. 5 times 3 is of course equal to 15. This also works, right? So in the end, we have to conclude that both of the answers are legitimate, namely -2 and -7, okay? You have to include both of these solutions. And that's it.